we'll have him brought back out if they say that he can be brought back out, and then you can give your victim impact. I know that no one, at least I have yet to have someone come before me and say my intention was to get drunk and go out and hit somebody, but it happens. If you're going to be drinking at all, even if you think it's just going to be one drink, it's better just to have a designated driver, right? I do appreciate the fact that you entered a plea, that you accepted responsibility by pleading guilty, and that you have not wavered and try to blame something else for this. You know it's true, and I appreciate that.
This hearing hits different, I'm not gonna lie. We're watching Judge would sentence a military veteran who made the worst mistake you can make behind the wheel. The moment she says 18 years, you can literally see his body shut down. I've seen people break down in court before, but watching someone physically collapse like that just drains the air out of the room. The hearing goes from a sentencing to a medical emergency in seconds, and you can tell everyone there feels the weight of it. It's one of those moments that reminds you the system isn't just paperwork and procedure. These are real lives changing in an instant. Let me know if you think any sentence ever truly feels like justice in cases like this. Let's get into it.
State versus Marlon Daniels. Can I have parties announced for the record?
Megan Galloway for State.
And for the defense?
George Sharman on behalf of the defendant cases.
All right, and you're Mr. Daniels?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Daniels, the court, at the request of your attorney, had a PSI ordered. And Mr. Daniels, we're going to proceed with sentencing. And each of the cause numbers, you entered a plea of guilty, and the punishment is to be assessed at 18 years in the prison. Mr. Daniels, I've had a chance to learn more about your background from your attorney, your military service. And I will tell you, I know that no one, at least I have yet to have someone come before me and say my intention was to get drunk and go out and hit somebody. Nobody ever intends to drive intoxicated or get to that point, but it happens. And that's why I always try to stress to everybody, please, please, if you're going to be drinking at all, even if you think it's just going to be one drink, it's better just to have a designated driver, right? I do appreciate the fact that you entered a plea, that you accepted responsibility by pleading guilty, and that you have not wavered and try to blame something else for this. I do note that you said that you couldn't remember, but you know it's true. And I appreciate that. Sometimes people will say, well, I don't remember what happened, so I'm really not responsible. But you didn't do that. And the fact that you entered a plea, and in each of these cause numbers, you were looking at 20 years. And I always tell people, when people go to jury trial, even when I was a defense attorney or as a prosecutor, I sometimes would have to explain to families, you don't know what 12 people are going to do, right? When you go to jury trial, you don't know. 12 people could say, you know what? This person before me is a military veteran. This person before me hasn't been in trouble. Yes, they did this, but we're not going to give them 18 years. Who knows? A jury may decide to have given you 2 years or 3 or 4 or whatever. You just never know. So for you to accept responsibility, for you to take the 18 years, knowing that by taking these 18 years, there is no appeal because you waived your right to appeal, I think that says a lot, even though I know that the family is in a lot of pain, because when you lose someone and you lose someone this way, it's not expected.
This is where Judge Wood says something most people don't think about, the jury gamble. And she's absolutely right. People talk confidently about going to trial, but when you're facing up to 20 years, trusting 12 strangers starts to feel a lot less reassuring. Defendants often hope their background or personal story will carry weight, but you never know if a jury will see a veteran or simply someone responsible for a death. That's why she's basically saying you limit the damage by pleading. Even though 18 years doesn't feel like a win in any sense, some of you watching probably understand that feeling where both options are terrible, but one at least gives you certainty. That's what this is, a tragic situation with no good outcome. She recognizes that he took responsibility. She respects it, but she's not ignoring what happened.
The court is recognizing that you accepted responsibility and you took close to the maximum sentence in each of the cause numbers. With that being said, And cause number 2024 CR 009218. The court will follow your plea bargain agreement as previously stated. When you entered your plea, the court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 18 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. The court will give you credit for any time served, and legally, you're entitled to any time that you have served on this case. This will run concurrent with 2024 CR 009219. I'll request the therapeutic community. The therapeutic community doesn't increase the time that you're in custody. It's merely designed to help you maintain your sobriety, address any type of mental health or substance abuse issues you may have, so that ultimately when you're released from prison and there's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon.
May I address the court on a matter?
Just one moment.
Yes.
And cause number 2024 CR 009219. The court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 18 years, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. This run concurrent with 2024 CR 009218. There is to be restitution of $60 to DPS for testing. And the court will recommend the therapeutic community. There's something you wish to say, counsel?
Yes, on the PSI, it said that he had the combat risen. He did not have combat treatment. So that was erroneous.
Okay.
Step number 2, it shows there were 2 prior misdemeanors. There was only 1. And if you look at it, it's the same date.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else?
That's all we have.
All right, Mr. Daniels. Deputy Laura, if you'll give us trial court certification. All right. Counsel? Counsel.
Yes.
All right, your client has been removed from the courtroom. Did you review the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with him?
I did.
All right. On the record, the court informed the defendant that by entering the plea, he had waived his right to appeal, so he acknowledged that. I followed the plea bargain agreement. So because I followed his plea bargain agreement and because he's waived his right to appeal, he do not have the court's permission to appeal.
I went over that with him, Judge, so he understands.
All right, thank you. Is there anything else from either side?
Well, Judge, I don't know if Mr. Sherman wanted to bring this to your attention, but because the defendant seemed to be in custody, I did see that he filed motions to remove the ignition and the locks. Your motions to...
Yes, she's already signed.
Oh, yes, I signed those, yes.
Objection to that.
All right, thank you.
And that we do have victim impact, but I'm...
All right, so who are the people here for victim impact?
That's the father,
Okay.
father and husband of the victims, and then the brother and sister.
Okay. All right, so everyone, just give us a moment. We're going to have medical check him out to see what's going on. And then if you will be patient, we'll have him brought back out if they say that he can be brought back out. And then you can give your victim impact.
That last moment was hard to watch. You don't even have to see the collapse to understand how fast a life can go from normal to completely change, that it's heartbreaking for the victim, and honestly, just tragic all around. He made a terrible decision that cost someone their life. That's not being excused. It's just the reality of how devastating this is for everyone involved. The judge didn't seem angry. She just had a responsibility to the community and to the victim. And sometimes that's all the court can do. That you'd be surprised how often even first-time offenders receive very heavy sentences in DUI cases because the consequences are permanent. This is one of those situations where nobody walks away feeling okay about the outcome. The reaction in the courtroom shows that clearly.Do you think 18 years was fair here, or do you think there could have been a better solution? Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think.